Captain DeConti,
Yes?
do you know Nefertiti?
Is she a Greek queen?
No, she... oh, never mind. Guernica, does that mean anything to you?
Not a harbor that I've ever docked at.
Oh, that's too bad. Do you know Albrecht Dürer?
Yes, an artist. Not bad. But he has his weaknesses as well.
For example?
For one, he wasn't Italian.
That's a pity.
You can say that again. At least he lived in Italy for a while.
What else can you tell me about him?
I once overheard an argument on board between a German and a Spaniard about who elevated the woodcut to an art form, Albrecht Dürer or Alberto Durero. Eventually, they realized they were talking about the same man. Ha!
Albrecht Dürer is called Alberto Durero in Spain?
That's right. Don't ask me why.
Buonarroti. That sounds Italian, doesn't it?
Ha! You can say that again. Buonarroti is the name of the greatest artist of all time. Michelangelo Buonarroti, who most people only know by his first name. Just imagine, one man, an Italian, achieves perfection in all three movements of graphic arts. His David is the most famous statue in the world. As an architect, he was a genius. He built parts of St. Peter's Basilica.
And as a painter, Michelangelo painted the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel.
The creation of Adam. The spark of life leaps from God to Adam. One of the most famous paintings in the world.
Yes, it is. The Sistine Chapel, Apostolic Palace, Vatican City. I don't know any animals associated with them.
Animals?
Oh, it's a game I used to play. My father posed me a riddle, and I have to guess an animal.
And Buonarroti's Adam was the hint? Maybe he meant Rome. According to legend, the founders of the city, Romulus and Remus, were raised by a she-wolf.
No, that's too vague. Does Vatican City have an animal on its coat of arms?
No.
And the Pope?
Every pope has his own emblem, but the new one doesn't have an animal.
You don't seem to like the new Pope.
It's too early to say. But who's fit to hold a candle to John the 23rd? Il Papa Buono, as we used to call him. The good Pope.
He just died recently. What was his heraldic animal?
He was a lion, and so was his heraldic animal.
For a Catholic, Buonarroti's Adam could be a mnemonic for the lion. Pope John XXIII was elected in the Sistine Chapel like every other pope. A work of art hints at a coat of arms with a lion on it. Maybe. I'll make a note of lion. I'm gonna go have a look around.
All right.
I don't know why, but people just seem to open up to me. Is that a blessing or a curse? It must be horrible to look back bitterly at the end of one's life, especially if it could have been a great life. The Baroness seems to have a reason to celebrate. She's downing one glass of champagne after another. The less I have to do with her, the better. Best if she doesn't even remember that I exist. Although, based on her alcohol consumption, I don't really think I have to worry about that. I'll leave him alone with his thoughts. It doesn't make sense whilst I don't know at least 3 of the animal symbols, and I'm not going to find the solution in there. Professor Lucien could certainly tell me everything there is to know about Nefertiti, but he might also realize that I was in his museum in London. I'd better not talk to him. Professor Lucien, but he... Dr. Gebhardt?
Yes?
I was talking to the captain. He didn't look well. Is he sick?
I am sure you will understand that I cannot discuss the medical history of one of my patients with you.
Why? Do you think I'm too stupid?
I didn't mean that. It is a matter of confidentiality.
I asked whether the captain is ill and you called him one of my patients. Haven't you already answered my question?
What do you want?
I ought to be going.
Thank God.
The silhouette of New York and of a ship, but not of this one. They probably use the same template for every ship. Looks pretty official, with a coat of arms, flag, seal, and all the trappings. And the poster is clean as a whistle. Someone seems to cherish it. Adil?
In the shower.
I found the secret compartment.
Oh, brilliant! And the jewel?
I'm working on it. Adil?
Yes?
I almost got caught in the Baroness's cabin.
What happened?
I don't know. A man came in and I just had time to hide under the bed.
Maybe it was a steward who came to clean the cabin?
And turn on a tape recorder in the cupboard?
Huh. Maybe it was Inch. He wanted some music?
There was nothing on the tape. It was playing, but I didn't hear anything. Something is rotten here.
Don't bother your pretty little head about it. Swap the eye and hurry back. I've got a surprise for you.
I don't think your surprise will really surprise me. The secret compartment is secured with a combination lock.
Is there any way in?
Not without leaving evidence. I need the combination.
Are there any hints?
A memory aid consisting of several works of art. There are animals on the log.
The works of art might hint at specific animals.
You don't say, genius. I've already got that far. About the combination.
Yes?
Does Nefertiti mean anything to you?
An Egyptian queen.
That's it?
I didn't have an affair with her, if that's what you mean. She's not my type, and she's been dead for thousands of years.
Well then, I'll take your word for it. Guernica. Sounds Spanish, doesn't it?
Yes, it's a city in the Basque region.
Does it have a heraldic animal? Or maybe the region has one?
I don't know. I've never been there. I just know it because the city was bombed by the Nazis during the Spanish Civil War.
Nazis? In the Spanish Civil War?
Well, not officially, of course. At the request of General Franco, his friends from Germany reduced a defenseless city to ashes and rubble. Picasso immortalized the bombing in his famous painting.
Really? Is it on display in Spain?
Silly. As long as Franco is in charge, he won't allow that.
Where is it?
Oh, no idea. Paris, maybe? Picasso lived there for a long time.
Maybe doesn't help me much. Alberto Durero.
What about him?
What's his most famous work?
Hard to say, he did a lot. He was a pioneer of woodcuts and printmaking.
The Baroness left his monogram as a hint, not the name of one of his artworks, so there must be a painting that everyone associates with him.
Not to my knowledge, although he did have a favorite motif.
And that was?
Himself. He made quite a few self-portraits.
That's it. The artist is the art.
Sounds logical. His most famous self-portrait is in the Prado in Madrid. I saw it with my own eyes 2 years ago.
Does Madrid have something like a heraldic animal?
Sure, it's a bear. It's on the coat of arms and all over the city.
Brilliant. The bear. I just need one more animal. I'll be going. Don't waste all the hot water.
Never.
Lady Westmacott?
Yes.
It must be exciting to meet all the world's famous and powerful people.
I stay away as far as possible from high society. Too shallow. Too boring.
But some of them must be exciting. Have you ever met Picasso?
They told him he's a genius so often that he actually started to believe it himself.
But his paintings are impressive. Guernica, for example.
Well, it certainly is big. I have to give him that.
Didn't he have to flee from Spain?
Yes, from the fascists, but not just him. Many of his paintings as well. If I remember correctly, Guernica is currently on display in the Museum of Modern Art in New York. He bequeathed it to a future Spanish republic.
And until then it stays in New York?
Yes, it's been there for years now.
Have you ever been to New York?
For the love of God, what would I do there? We have the original York in England. That's quite enough for me.
So, you don't know the heraldic animal of New York?
No, probably an eagle. It's all eagles over there.
May I take my leave?
You may.
Captain DeConti?
Yes?
An old seaman like you must surely have been to New York, right?
Aye, aye. My usual territory is the Mediterranean, but I've crossed the Atlantic many times. It's always a great moment when the Statue of Liberty appears on the horizon.
You wouldn't happen to know the heraldic animal of New York?
No. Maybe an eagle?
I'm gonna go have a look around.
All right.
Dr. Gebhardt?
Yes?
Have you ever heard of a Picasso?
That's enough. I am saying this as we can discuss these
I ought to be go-
Thank
Maybe the art magazine will help me with the symbols. Indeed. An article about the different works of art and how they survived the Second World War. And there's also a picture of the bust of Nefertiti. The unique Egyptian work of art was 1913. Permission to export to Germany. Second World War. Safe at the Reich Bank. Then a bunker. And then a salt mine. Prevented from shipping the bust to the United States. Back in Berlin since 1956. Very glad. Blah, blah, blah. Soon in the Egyptian Museum of Berlin, and hopefully someday in a reunified Berlin on the museum island. Okay, so the bust of Nefertiti is located in Berlin. And which animal is on the city's coat of arms? The Berlin bear. That's it! 3 animals are all I need. I can guess the 4th, but I could try to find the 4th symbol anyway, just to be sure. The doctor is upstairs. He probably locked the door. Yes. Very fine handiwork. The model maker even wrote the name of the ship on the tiny life preservers. But the winter garden at the back of the saloon is missing, and the stern deck looks different. It was obviously made before the ship was remodeled. Maybe one of the crew whiled away the long nights at sea building the model. Only someone with a lot of time and a love of the original could build such a thing. Okay, the coat of arms of New York City is on the poster. There's the obligatory eagle. That can't be it, since there's no eagle on the lock. But look here, how cute. There are 2 beavers posing on the New York City emblem. Guernica equals New York equals beaver. All 4 symbols decoded. Gosh, I'm good. Now, I need to get back to the Baroness's cabin. The jewel is waiting for me.
Baroness von Tribitz? Are you okay? Hello? Baroness? Hello?
Adele,
What happened?
the Baroness. Blood everywhere.
But who?
I don't know. Inch?
That doesn't make any sense.
Don't move. Zellner, up here. We've got our shadow. How are you?
I do nothing. Me crew.
Sure you are. What are you doing here?
Just fresh air.
Sure. You just wanted to get a breath of fresh air. Zellner, look who we have here.
Well, if that's not our shadow.
And our stowaway.
Were you recently traveling via trunk?
Nothing.
He claims to be part of the crew. Just wanted to get some fresh air.
Oh, sure. And you obviously didn't attack me either, did you?
The Baroness won't open her door, sir.
Understood. Take him to the detention cell, Robert. We'll talk later, my friend.
What is? Did nothing.
Inspector Legrand thinks otherwise. Move!
But I have... Gunshot!
I know that! Get moving! Into the cell!
Ah! What happened last night?
What happened? That you were walking around the ship, that you let them catch you, that you endangered the whole plan, that you endangered me.
I didn't kill anyone. They arrested me purely by coincidence. They'll have to turn me loose in Cairo. I mean, someone was killed, weren't they? I heard a shot. Why won't you answer?
I'm having a conversation that you cannot hear.
What happened last night?
The Baroness was murdered.
Did you?
No. If it were up to me, she'd have had an accident in a couple of weeks. Instead, someone shot the old bat in the heart point blank.
Are we calling it off?
No. Mr. X is ready, and as her surviving representative, I should be able to move about freely in the museum. The old hag's death doesn't change anything.
How did you get in here?
I'm more than capable of finding the entrance to a cargo hold. Indeed, it was child's play. It's not as though I had to crawl through ventilation shafts or anything so gauche.
So, what do we do now? I could escape, and...
swim to Cairo.
So, I stay here and wait?
They'll arrest you in Cairo and question you about the murder. Even if they don't throw you in jail, it'll take days.
And if we find the murderer, then they'd have no reason to hold me.
Oh, I'm one step ahead of you.
Nervous? I would be if I were you.
This Zellner chap wasn't part of the plan. I don't like it.
He's groping about in the dark. Legrand is the real problem.
Still, I'm going to take him out of the picture.
How?
Dr. Gebhardt killed the Baroness. A clever old man, but not clever enough to keep me from finding out.
So you just have to tip Legrand off, and then I'm as good as free.
That's what I thought at first, but then I thought, why waste the opportunity? I put Zellner on the trail of the good doctor. He'll drive Gebhardt into a corner, and when he lashes out in desperation, he might hit our Swiss friend. Maybe even Legrand, if we're really lucky.
You can't do that. The old fella's just doing his job.
And so am I.
Inch. Enough blood has been shed. Inch. No more deaths. Damn! I have to get out of here and warn Constable Zellner. I guess this cage is some kind of detention cell for the crew. It's not the most impregnable prison in the world, but it's still a problem. I didn't sleep a wink last night. All I could think of was Alex. It's terrible not knowing what happened. The blanket got caught on the nail. A board and a nail. Ugh, they're really spoiling me with this cup of metallic-tasting water. If I'm really lucky, they'll toss me a few crumbs of bread. I've seen movies in which the prisoners called their guards like this, but it wouldn't help. I can't explain the situation to the Bobby without endangering the whole plan. Like everything else on this ship, the bars and hinges are showing their age, but they're still much too strong for me to kick the door open. Huh. Lock looks pretty modern. Needs a small key, 5 pins. I could pick it with the right tools. It's a normal lock. I bet I could pick it if I had a wire or something like that. It's a normal lock. I doubt that will work. Yep, the nail is much too thick to fit in the keyhole. If I were able to hammer the nail flat, it'd probably fit in the keyhole. But I'd need a hammer and anvil for that. The cup won't do. I think it's working. One down. I'll hang it back on the frame, and if I'm lucky, no one will notice my escape. Fire still poses a great threat to ships. There are fire alarms, extinguishers, and hoses everywhere nowadays. These hoses are pretty versatile. They'll do at a pinch if you can't smuggle climbing ropes into the building you're planning to rob. Before I went to London to become Inch's protege, Alex and I drove through the French Riviera in this convertible. It was a wonderful week, and on the cliffs near Toulon, I asked her to marry me. But this is no time for reminiscing. There's nothing in the car that might help me. Alex is playing her role as Patricia Mayers, and she can't keep anything suspicious with her. As soon as Constable Zellner and Inspector Legrand are out of danger, I'll slip back into the cell. They'll arrest the good doctor, and hopefully they'll turn a blind eye to a poor stowaway. A ring set into the floor. You could attach ropes or chains to it. It's set into the floor to keep people from tripping over it. A good height for attaching something to the hook. What's this? Whoa, heavy. Everything's a bit bigger and heavier on a ship, pulleys included. And now? What's that up there? A grate. Sunlight's shining through it. And above it, a bent pipe. This could be my way out. The bars are welded at 4 points, and unfortunately they're not all as rusty as this one. A good height for attaching something. I don't think that was the solution to the puzzle. that won't work. The hose is too wide. I'm sure the crane still works. I don't have time to play around. Here goes nothing. Louder than I expected. I hope no one noticed. With luck, I'll be able to warn the others about the doctor before it's too late. I tied the hose to the hook. I could do this all day. No! Hey, you all right? That bastard didn't inject the fatal dose. You'll be back on your feet soon enough. Better take it easy while I... Oh, no! I'll be right back. Where are you? No!
Why can't you just leave me alone? Stay there.
Just relax.
Why can't you just leave me alone? It is always the same old story.
What old stories?
I am a decent man. Why are you torturing me? I loved her. She betrayed me. It was her fault. I have blood on my hands because of her.
Are you talking about the Baroness?
She was her sister. I loved her. With all my heart. They were Jewish, you know? But I didn't care about that. I hid them when it became dangerous for them. I looked after them. I brought them food. I was a party member. And still, I hid her and her whole family.
You risked your life for a woman you loved. And 30 years later, you murder her sister?
I saw her swollen belly. I was so angry. He was one of them, you know? They just used me. I hid them, brought them food, and in return they laughed about me behind my back.
What did you do?
There are Jews hiding in the basement of the Waldhof. Armed Jews. We have to burn them out. And that's what they did. I had never met her. Back in East Prussia, she was the older sister, the smart sister. She studied art history in New York, tried to get her family out of East Prussia, but I was able to prevent that.
You say you loved her, and yet you wanted to deny her and her family a safe life.
They were safe. I protected them. It was for their sake that I joined the party. I had contacts. I wrapped them in my protective embrace.
You didn't let her escape because you wanted to keep her close to you.
She sent photos to her sister before the war. She must have recognized me yesterday in Venice. I certainly recognized her.
The Baroness was searching through her photos. That's true.
She couldn't get me during the war. And after the war, I disappeared. Gave myself a new name, a new resume, a new life. And then, suddenly, there she was. About to ruin everything.
So, she had to die.
I didn't want that. But she gave me no choice. Why did she have to stir up old ghosts?
All right now.
No. It ends here and now.
Why do you want to kill yourself?
Isn't it obvious? He can't bear his false, hollow life anymore.
Who are you? What do you want?
A man who understands etiquette and honor, and yet is nothing but a coward himself, who, because of wounded vanity, burdens himself with immense guilt.
Don't come any closer.
The Baroness held a mirror up to you, didn't she, Doctor? And you hated what you saw there, so you smashed the mirror. But the sins of the past are catching up with you now, aren't they?
No.
A scowl with empty eyes full of fear.
Stop it.
Oh, dear, you really know how to dampen the mood. I almost had him. And you? Aren't you supposed to follow orders? Are you not here to assist me?
I won't.
That wasn't a question.
I don't want any dead bodies, but I don't understand why you're doing this.
You don't have to. Watch and learn.
No!
No. What is it then? You wanted to jump anyway, or you should at least.
Inch?
I'm just lending a friendly hand. He's a coward. He needs a bit of motivation. Come on now, chop, jump!
You are the Baroness's butler, aren't you? I did not want to kill your mistress.
Oh, nonsense. Forgiven and forgotten, if you don't mind my asking.
There must be another solution.
Why are you doing this?
Nothing personal. Well, that's not entirely true. You're a miserable excuse for a human being, aren't you? But mainly, you're a means to an end. Your death will get Inspector Legrand off our backs.
The inspector? What do I have to do with him?
Your letter. The one in which you confess to being the Raven and to killing the Baroness because she saw through your ruse.
That's absurd.
Indeed it is. But people will believe almost anything if it suits them. The press will love it. Bold Inspector Legrand saves the day again. Interviews, medals, urgent telegrams from the capital. Our dear friend won't be able to escape the limelight. And by the time the commotion has ended, I'll be long gone.
You can't kill him.
Why not? He's a bastard, his death will help us, and he's a witness. If we let him go, we'll both go to jail.
All the same, we're not gonna kill him. You got us into this situation. And as long as I'm alive, I won't let anyone be killed in my presence.
No.
I have to do the dirty work for you in the museum, so you won't be shooting me, or him.
Very well, you win. What? Oh, never speak to me like that again. Do you understand? I need you to steal the eye, but one day I could be overwhelmed by a feeling of hatred that will make me forget the eye. And there are worse things I could do than simply shoot you. I suggest you go back to your cell. You need to be fit for Cairo. I still have a confession to write.
The last act. The end of the Raven. Part of me wants to abandon the whole plan and go back to Europe. What if something goes wrong and Legrand catches on? I couldn't bear it if something happened to her. I can't afford to slip up.
Mr. Jamal, I'm glad you could make it.
Let's get this over with.
Still angry on account of the good doctor?
You disgust me.
You'll be rid of me in less than 2 hours, and I of you.
What happens next?
My diversion worked wonderfully. The press has laid siege to the French embassy, and Legrand won't be able to escape them. He should arrive in a few minutes with the safe, and then he'll have to answer ridiculous questions from reporters all afternoon.
That's why we're striking now.
A regrettable necessity. I would have preferred to make my grand entrance this evening at the gala. But yes, we will strike as soon as the safe is in the treasure chamber and Legrand has left.
Have you already met your Mr. X?
He's counting an envelope of unmarked bills as we speak. He put the blueprints under the statue of Imhotep.
Blueprints?
A sketch of the museum, not the kind you can get just anywhere. This one shows secret entrances, basements, and attic rooms that the Resistance used during the war.
That's what it was about.
Get the blueprints. There's a basement below the treasure chamber. The entrance should be marked on the blueprints. Open it and give me a sign.
What's the next step?
You'll find out when it's time.
But... will there be more deaths here in the museum?
If you follow my instructions, no.
If people are in danger, I'll call the whole thing off.
I don't kill for fun, only when it's necessary.
Is it ever really necessary?
Sometimes. Revenge, for example, when one has been betrayed.
All right then, I'll pay a visit to Imhotep and we'll meet in the basement.
Good monkey. Oh, and by the way, the museum is closed to visitors until tomorrow.
Then how...
You'll find a way.